I believe last time when we left off, I was talking about my upbringing in Vegas. Mind you, a lot of people trying to chronologize what happens in Vegas, but they always miss the point. I'm not finna go out there to Bales or Barlow's, these known stores out here in Vegas, or Kerry Mini Mart, and put no camera in front of no burnt out ass motherfucker face. I'm not doing that. I could sit at home and hold on for a minute. Don't interrupt me again. Go. Kids. Anyway, hey, check this out. Before I get started, don't never let nobody provoke you. I got these bitch ass neighbors upstairs, right? They obviously the police. You know, they know everywhere I go inside my house. You might think this sounds funny, but they trying to provoke me. But I'm not gonna let them, because they don't want me to do what I'm doing, which is give you my life story and put alternatives on the table for youngsters. They want me to act like a monkey, but I'm not. I'm gonna hang them with their own noose. Watch me. But anyway, growing up in Vegas, I don't know, about Cali or nothing like that, but growing up in Vegas, I guess you could say I was exposed to the same things they was. Being a son of the founder, gang banging to me was just a norm. And out here, unlike Chicago, Vice Lords, Disciples, and California, Blood and Crip, and although we got the Blood and Crip thing out here, we have our own swag. Like out here, we have what is known as Northtown Gangster Crips. We have the Rolling 60 Crips. We have the Anybody Murderers, Bonanza Village Crips, White Street, Hard Time Hustler, Hollywood, Playboy Blood, West Coast Blood, Gershon Park Kingsmans, Brownie Boys, 40 Block, Ellis Street. You got SAs, Little Locos, Sanchucos, 28th Street, Pinoy Boys. You know what I'm saying? You got, back in the days, you had Los Hermanos, KBs, you know what I'm saying? Pachucos, Barrio Northtown. You know what I mean? Vegas was turned up too. And growing up, I kind of grew up quick, being in Herbert Gershon. It wasn't a day where I didn't see violence. It wasn't a day where I didn't see some type of form of police interaction, negative. I guess you could say my upbringing was fast, aggressive, and hostile. I ended up hanging out with a lot of key players because of who my father was in Herbert Gershon. And key players in Herbert Gershon back during when I was coming up was people like Dirty Rob, Master G, Poncho, Donna Ray Page, Big Nag, Cornbread for sure, Can Can, Lil Gus, Big Gus, Kenny Mack. It's so many. Booger Bell, Big Dave Hall, rest in peace, Freak Dog, Flock, Woodlock. It was so many homies from my neighborhood that I hung with. And we being who we were, we was always different. We the oldest. We were black and green. We were our neighborhood colors. We not cripping our blood. We have our own swagger. And anybody will tell you Herbert Gershon was some projects you didn't mess around in or get caught over in, especially if you're not from there. And we the type of dudes that we was like, we was animals, feral at the mine. We didn't care where you was from. If you weren't from over there, you was gonna get dealt with. And I'm pretty sure people that come from Jordan Downs or the Nickersons, they know what I'm talking about when it comes to those projects, man. We know who stay over there and who don't. Simple as that. But yeah, like I say, I ended up doing a beer run at the age of 12. The age of 12, I did a beer run. I ended up getting sent to Nevada Youth Training Center, which is in Elko, Nevada. It's like our form of CYA, but we only stay there for like 6 months. We don't stay there for like 18 months until we 25, like in CYA. We only stay there for like 6 months. But I went there when I was 12 years old for doing a beer run. Now I'm up in here with dudes that's, we stay in there till we turn 18. And, I'm in there with dudes that's a lot older than me, a lot of gangbangers, Pyrus, Bloods, that's older than me, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting, a reputation at an early age, man, because I was with the business, you know what I'm saying, at the age of 12. I was a little dude, but I had the heart of a lion. I wasn't scared of nobody, and that was my Achilles heel. I wasn't scared to fight. You know what I mean? Being a son of who I was, I wasn't scared to fight nobody, and I guess it was just in my DNA, just like him. If you got me mad, that's where it went down at. That's how I was, man. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Elko because Elko was kind of like different from me. It exposed me to a different culture, white culture at that, but there's nothing wrong with it. But up in Elko, you had these corn-fed hillbillies, white boys, and Indians, and I won't say they was racial, but they called us buckwheat and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But and they whooped our ass when we got out of line. They whooped our motherfucking ass, and there was one in particular. His name was Mr. Watson, big old scary looking hillbilly looking ass man. He had no eyebrows, blonde hair, white boy looked like he never blinked. Big old pigeon-toed white boy, man, and when he see you walk, he go, whoa, get over here, dickweed, come here, buckwheat. If he see you walking with a limp, like you a gangster and all that, he go, whoa, put some cowboy in that step, get over here, you little fuck. Then, it was a big old white boy. He used to white boys had their sleeves rolled up with the big hairy arms, fat ass fists, big ass forearms. He was one of them. You know what I mean? Big old corn-fed hillbilly motherfucker, man, would knock you the fuck out. For real. Oh, he didn't care about adolescence and none of that. He will knock you, Mr. Watson will knock your ass out. For real. And they had a Mormon, named Mr. Anderson. He had a brother that worked there, and he never cussed. I never understood that. Because as much trouble as I get, listen, this white man right here slapped blood out my mouth. I mean, and listen, he refused to cuss. So no matter how mad you make him, you go feel the pain. He slapped me and he say, shut your stinking mouth. Bow, shut your stinking mouth. Bow, shut your stinking mouth. And then took the write-up that they wrote me up with and shoved it in my mouth. And he's supposed to be a Mormon, but that's how he did me. So you see the severity of disciplinary actions that they handed out. But nevertheless, we was bad. And we probably, if we took heed to what they was trying to do, we'd have turned out a little bit better. But going to Elko didn't do nothing but make us more proficient, buff, meaner, and I guess you could say articulate than what we were. You know what I'm saying? Because when we got at Elko, we wasn't nothing but stronger, meaner, more vicious, and more intent on doing what we've been doing, which is breaking the law. That never changed. We just look buff and bigger doing it. So, but going through Elko, and I've been there 3 times on 3 different occasions since the age of 12. Okay, and it's before I went to Shelby Training Center, Caliente, and Psych Ward. I just want to talk about Elko because something happened to me up in there, which was like the beginning of what I became because it was like lost. See, I was in this dorm called Explorer. Explorer was the dorm for all the kids that were younger than the rest of the people that were in the institution. You had dorms like Pioneer, Indian, Adventure, Forester, Frontier, Mountaineer. Then was the different dorms that you had. And depending on your age is where you ended up. Mountaineer had the ones that was 17, almost 18. Adventure and Pioneer was fire crew. So everybody in there was basically 16 because you had to be 16 to be on fire crew. Explorer was for the youngsters for like 12, 13, 14. I was the second youngest person in Elko history. I was 12 when I went up there. There was a white boy named Willie Ward. He was 11. We both was in Explorer. We were the babies. And over that unit was a female named Miss Pat. We called her Miss Pat. Big burly white woman, nice as I don't know what, always had a motherly like mom type figure, real nice, caring, compassionate, female, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, I really took a liking to her because I never had somebody that was so into me doing good, no matter how bad I did. My grandmama, bless her soul, Dorothy Ann Davidson, she was always my biggest fan, on the street. But when I met Miss Pat, it was something different. You know, she gave me an affection that I wasn't familiar with. I don't know if it had to do with her being white, but it was just an affection that I wasn't used to, but it was peculiar, you know. And I used to get in trouble on purpose just to get admonished by her. You know, I know if I messed up in school, I'm gonna get, you know, I'm gonna hear it, and I kind of liked it. I ain't gonna lie. So I used to mess up on purpose, but I noticed that when I did good, or at least when I tried, you know, she really, you know, rewarded me, like gave me stuff, let me do stuff she knew I wasn't supposed to do, you know, and I really liked it. You know, I used to go out my way to show her that I was kind of a good kid, you know, even though I fought a lot and, you know, ran with a gang. But it was just something about the way, you know, she was, you know, she used to bring me little musk cologne and different bars of soap, and bought me a radio and stuff like that for Christmas, man. And, you know, used to bring me cakes and pies from home that she made herself. So I was like her little adopted son, you know what I mean? And I didn't mind being that. But it all came crashing down one day, man, when we came from lunch, you know, and I wonder why she wasn't there, and why Mr. Pope, which is an Indian, was there. And so we was in the kitchen. I went up to him. I said, "Mr. Pope, what Miss Pat at?" And he knew, you know, because I developed a reputation of kind of being a kind of like 5150. I was drinking, let me tell you why. I was drinking window cleaner. Me and this white boy named Grumblack. Grumblack, I mean, we used to compete on who can do the most stupidest, whatever you consider crazy stuff. And I used to drink window cleaner and huff that foam stuff they clean the sinks with, that cleaning foam. I used to spray that in a sock and be huffing that, just trying to get high. Whatever I can do to just get in trouble, that's what I did. You know, and Grumblack, he had me beat, because one day he stuck his hand and they had a fish tank full of Oscar fish. You know them Oscar fish? He stuck his hand in that fish tank and grabbed one of them fish and grabbed it and bit a chunk out of it. They sent his ass to jail. He was an adolescent, so that tells you how sick he was. He just took the fish and bit that. I can't. But anyway, Miss Pat, she ended up leaving, man. She didn't even tell me bye. She quit. I don't know why. But I know when they told me that, I wasn't able to process the loss or her not being there. I was like, nah, that ain't how this, you know, it was my first, I guess you could say, experience with, I don't know. I don't know if I could say betrayal, because she didn't owe me nothing. But that was the first time I experienced real intimate, like, loss like that. And so I'm gonna keep it real simple and plain for you. I ended up trying to commit suicide. I hung myself. Yeah, as a 12-year-old, I hung myself and was checked out. They brought me back, some little green machine, a ventilator, whatever it was. They put some machine on me and was pumping on my chest and got me back to breathing and all that. But I was out of there. I hung myself. And that experience right there, because I didn't want to live no more when she left, it turned me, I ain't gonna say into a monster, but it made me not trust nobody no more. It made me not trust nobody. I didn't want nothing to do with love or compassion or none of that shit no more after she left, because what ended up happening to me, I was a 12-year-old kid, and instead of them letting me heal or counseling me or dealing with whatever I was going on, they sent me to the crazy house as a 12-year-old and drugged me up like I was really 5150. They drugged me up. Dr. Joanna Triggs was my side. I'll never forget her. The white coat, the padded rooms, the big ass keys, pill call. But let's just say that experience from locking me up in the under evaluation at the age of 12 set in motion something I don't know if you can say was subhuman or whatever. But I know from that moment on, I was never the same. And when I come back from the ground up, you go see that my behavior reflects as such. I became something that the streets of Las Vegas weren't prepared for. And I'm going to get into it from the ground up. Part 5, join me. So I can continue. Till then.